Okay, kids, these first three problems are really review. I would like for you to try them yourself, and I'm going to you can come back here in just a second. I'm going to go through them quickly and then focus on the word problems down below, okay? So here, of course, we would combine like terms. 3x minus 4x is negative x. I would move that 6 over. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. Get rid of the negative sign by dividing by negative 1. And we're done. Got a little distribution here. Most students are pretty good at that. 3 times k, 3 times 8. Move the 24 over. 3k equals negative 3. Divide by 3, we get k equals negative 1. Okay? And remember, here's the next one. This is that new technique I showed you. Get rid of the fraction by multiplying the entire equation. This is the easiest way to go anyway. By the lowest common denominator. So 2 and 3, the smallest number that 2 and 3 would divide into would be 6. I'm going to now multiply 6 by all three terms in here. Remember, you multiply by the top and then divide that result by the bottom. 6 times 2x is 12x, divided by 3 is 4x. 6 times x is 6. 6x divided by 2 is 3x. Don't forget to do 6 times 7. This is really 7 over 1. Now this problem's super easy. Do a little division, and we get x equals 6. Okay? Hopefully that's good. Down below here, this is a little bit trickier. So we're doing a word problem. We have to define a variable. Okay, so you define the variable for what you don't know anything about. Let's read through this. You're building a rectangular fence for a playground. So sketching it out would be wise first. One side of the playground is the wall of the building, which is 70 feet wide. So let's say that this is the building. So you don't actually need a fence there, okay? Because the wall is going to use the fence. Now, it tells us that this width is 70, so we know this is 70. So the thing that we don't know then is the length, okay? So let's call that x. We'll say x is the length of the playground. Always define your variable for the thing that you don't know anything about. They told us the width. They told us that right here. So we don't define the variable as that. We define the variable for what we don't know anything about. Now remember, it says we're using 340 feet of fencing. So these three sides, x plus 70 plus x, has to add up to 340. And now we solve that by combining like terms. Move the 70 over by subtracting. 340 minus 70. You guys are going to have to bear with me here. As I'm making this video, I got a garbage truck going by. So you might not hear me as well. Sorry about that. Divide by 2, and we get 135. So that is the length. 135 feet, right? It says find the length of the playground. So that'd be 135 feet. Okay? That's it. Now here's another one that's a little bit trickier. I don't know if we're going to save this for another time, this garbage. Well, I'll do this in the video right now. The garbage truck's gonna disrupt this a little bit. So I bought 22 pieces of lumber. I bought two things. I bought 2x4s and 2x2s. Okay? How many of each did he buy? Well, this is going to be a little bit tricky. So to do this, and I spent $50.20. So, we know that the 2x4s cost $2.50. We know that the 2x2s cost $1.90. So we know that the price of each one. So, but we don't know how many of each we bought. So just pick one of them and call it X. So let's say X is the number of 2x4s. Now, I know that we don't know how many 2x2s I bought either, but don't worry about that right now. So 2x4s, they cost $2.50. So $2.50 times X would be the amount of money I spent on 2x4s. But I also spent money on 2x2s. They cost $1.90. And I have to multiply that $1.90 times how many of those I bought. That's the tricky thing. We're going to do that in just a second. And this all has to equal 50 because this is my money equation. That's how much money I spent altogether. 250 times the number of 2x4s is how much I spent on 2x4s. $1.90 times the number of 2x2s is how much I spent on that. And together it's $50.20. Well, you see, if you look through the information up top, the only thing that we haven't used so far is this. And this is, you got to think a little bit. I bought 22 total pieces of lumber. So if X of those was 2x4s, that means the number of 2x2s would have to be 22 minus X. Right? Just think. If I bought one 2x4 and I bought 22 items altogether, that means I had to have bought 21 2x2s, right? Okay. If I bought three 2x4s and I bought 22 items altogether, 22 minus 3 would give me 19. I bought 19 2x2s. So it's always going to be 22 minus X. So to solve this, we got to do a little distribution. 190 times 22 is 4180. Don't forget to distribute it to the X as well. Combine like terms, 250X minus $1.90X is 0.60X. Let's move this over at the same time. And that gives us 840. And I do a little division. And I come up, you have to use your calculator here, I came up with 14. So that means I bought, it says how many of each did I buy? 14 what? X is the number of 2x4s. That's the 2x4s. And if I bought 22 total, subtract 14 from 22, and that would be the 2x2s. So there is my answer. All right.